Hello, and welcome to another Devstream. So, been a hot minute since I last worked on this. Just delete these from the tutorial I did on geometry brushes. Also lower my music a little bit. I can just lower my sound. Yes, I'm listening to Radioactive. The unknown artist is just because it was ripped from a CD. Anyways, I'm just here because I need to take. I have some. Basically a bit of tidying up to do, and then gonna be adding more artwork because I have a whole bunch of artwork that I nabbed and put in the data. I just need to actually put it in and label it because I'm still working on a thing. The how do I actually... No, I don't... Okay. Yeah, there we go. But before I do that, it is actually bad form to have a whole bunch of geometry brushes. It kind of lags on performance, and while this isn't an issue right now, I do want to essentially tidy things up a bit, get the textures looking like how I want them, and then I'll turn them into there's a word for it. Into static meshes. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna stick with the wall texture got here from starter content. It's a little blasé, but my target audience is not going to go, oh my god, she used the Unreal starter content mesh or material, how dare she? Oh, she now has a job. Part-time hours at the moment. And has other things to do than, you know. Like, I could whip up a material real quick, but I think I'll be okay. There's other things I can do to really spice it up. Like making frames. That's something I plan on doing. Which material is this? Cut stone. Okay. Let's make sure everything's matching. So yeah, I mean, I do like geometry brushes for the fact that, like, you can make sure everything's right, and you don't have to, you don't have to go, like, essentially, it's a replacement for, not a replacement, but doing things I could have done in Maya or Maya and Substance Painter, but a lot faster, which allows me to not have to go into Maya and Substance Painter, which is essentially, in this case, a faster workflow because I'm the only person on this. Obviously, it's not recommended that for, like, your final, like, if you're making a super fancy schmancy game, but a little bit more effort in. And no one's gonna care. Sort of the shadowy entrance And I'll probably make like a fancy museum entrance at some point. This is more like what's out now is closer to a vertical, well, not vertical slice. Prototype of a vertical slice. That's how I'll put it. Yeah. But I wanted to have something out that could potentially be helpful. But, you know, gotta advertise, get a bit of funding, because there's some stuff I want to do, but the programs cost money. Everything costs money. And, you know, okay. Yeah, so, also kind of cool because, no, not that way. There we go. What's it like being a game dev? I went in and I changed textures. Texture scaling. Now, there's two ways to sort of fix kind of, you know, the whole what I got going on. I can either, I think I can just either turn, you know, this mesh, and this mesh into static meshes, but there was a bit of scaling for some areas. Yeah. So I don't think I can quite do that. But again, this is still a lot of early stuff. This room might get like changed out entirely, and you're not even the right one. But yeah, so when there's more stuff, this room will just get changed out entirely. Sort of the beginner room. Everything changes in a production. I just don't. Devstream. Watch the most boring tasks. I mean, this isn't necessarily boring. I do find nitty gritty stuff like this where you have to go in and make tiny little adjustments to 10 million meshes, or with 3D modeling, another thing I don't mind doing is going in and making sure that the 3D mesh is like low poly and as optimized as can be without affecting shading. Because you can get pretty low poly, but like at a certain point, depending on what you're doing, it messes with the shading in kind of subtle ways or really obvious ways, depending on what it is. So you don't want to, not a good. So you have to be careful with how you optimize the model, otherwise it starts to look weird. And then, so like also just taking super high poly models and deleting, like first you retopo. That's the first thing you do, you retopo. But even just like going in and like deleting unnecessary things and weird normals, and why is that edge loop there, and then going into the UVs, which, yeah, okay, you are the right way. Which I am personally kind of picky about UVs. I'm no UV expert. I am definitely not an expert. But because I'm so often working in Unreal, I will not be happy if there's a lot of overlapping. Because Unreal Light... Yeah, Unreal... Wow, I am having a time of my life multitasking, doing something, and talking. Anyways, Unreal's light maps can get really wonky. They just don't like overlapping UVs, and while they kind of... Unreal kind of automatically makes your UVs, you know, separates them out so it doesn't cause issues with the lighting. So like if you have a bunch of like stacked UVs, because that's what's efficient, Unreal just unstacks them. And so but it's a lot easier because you can have like, it doesn't... Well, often, what I've noticed will often happen is Unreal will recognize that the UVs are overlapping, but it doesn't quite recognize like which UVs are overlapping and what the issue is. So, and it'll usually be like when they barely touch. Which I have seen happen and have had to fix. Because some people... Also, it's a problem in texturing. Because I've had to texture someone's models before. And they would always have overlapping UVs. And it was just like... Yeah, no wonder you hate texturing. Like, what? So, for those who don't know, when you texture... Well, for starters, the UVs I'm talking about... what that is essentially the flattened version of the model. And when you flatten it, essentially, you kind of need to arrange things in the right way. And if they're overlapping... Well, there's the light map issue I just mentioned, which is for Unreal, but I think Unity has the same issue. But when you go into like Substance Painter to texture, if the UVs are too close, the texture will start, like the color will bleed over, and so suddenly like you have gold in the area that was supposed to be wood, for example. And stacking UVs, that's when you just have like, you have UVs, so like say it's a 3D model with a screw in it. Well, you would UV one screw and then duplicate it for however many screws there are in the thing. And then when you have the big UV map for the entire model, the screw UVs would be on top of each other and you would barely notice. You can also kind of stack them if they're not exact. It just doesn't quite work. But yeah, so moral of the story, make sure your UVs don't overlap. And if there's something that you want good resolution on, that should be bigger. Like, I don't know if this is if this is something that industry professionals do, but you can have it so that the UVs of like the area that's not going to get a lot of attention, like if I were to UV this, I can make it so that this area gets like is fairly small because it's not really going to be noticed, and then this area is really big because that's what's going to be noticed, and that's what needs a better resolution. This is another geometry brush too. Yeah, I need to resubscribe to Autodesk. I need to give them my money again. I just haven't needed to, so it's like, you know what, I'll just prolong it. I'll prolong it until I actually get around to like making frames, or if for my new job I need to actually make a 3D model. Which at the moment I've just been doing Niagara effects for the most part, and material stuff. Not gonna say what the effects are, just that I've been doing Niagara stuff. Basic Niagara stuff. Like, I have to be honest, I have been kind of procrastinating on my learning Niagara, so I'm a little, I don't want to say behind necessarily, but there's stuff I should know and I just don't because reasons. So I need to actually go in and, you know, work out more stuff with like Niagara and chaos, because exploding things is fun. And Niagara. Wow, I picked the wrong day, I think, to try to entertain an audience. It's okay if you're not really entertained. You know, I am partially doing these dev streams to sort of go, hey, look, I'm working on this thing. It's a, hey, I have a thing. And also an attempt to get used to actually talking on not on camera. There's no camera. Sorry guys, you don't get to see my face. You don't get to see my several inch long roots. It's even funnier is like in the profile pic I have on Twitter. Like, it seems like my hair is perfectly all purple. But no, I'm just wearing a hat that's covering my roots. And that was in October. My roots are even longer now. I should really just, you know, either do this at home. I've been avoiding the hairdresser because I don't want to get COVID for the sake of purple hair. Like, priorities. Omicron is kind of a thing, and it's, you know, kind of infectious. And no one wants to wear masks. By the way, wear a mask. Don't be all whiny. Like, I understand masks suck. Like, as someone who has a bad habit of mouth breathing, masks suck. But I also like not getting COVID, so I will wear an N95 and a KN95. Like, not both at once, but I will actually wear them. In fact, when I first heard of Omicron, it was just like digging out the N95 because I knew there were some and hiding in a closet. So yeah, stay safe. Stay home if you can. And wear a mask. Just wear a mask. And yes, I'm mostly talking to the American audience, but also, even if you're like in the UK or Germany, wear a mask. You know, it's what you can do. Until then, well, there's this digital museum I've got. So that you can go to a museum and look at artworks. And eventually I'll figure out how to get the user control of the camera. Which is a thing. I know it's a thing, and it's a thing I need to figure out. Because, the first person camera is pretty good for this, and I made sure, things that are good height and whatnot. But this is for, like, the people who know what they're doing. Because that's the thing. I want to make it like, an option you can do. Rather than default. Because if it was default, there's way too many people who'd be confused. Like, I am recognizing that my target audience can be teachers and parents who, while there are gamer and game dev teachers and parents, for the most part, I'm thinking of people who, we all had them. I mean, for, like, people in their, like, 20s, you had the teacher didn't know what the YouTube, how to turn off autoplay on YouTube when showing videos. Or who got really confused by how to play DVDs. Which, if you're a teacher watching this, just know I love you. It's okay if you don't understand the technology. Also, kudos to you for getting this far into watching this. But yeah, I'm recognizing that tech is not always the forte of my target audience. So that's why I have the little explainer video of how to use this. And I'll have to make a tutorial in game. Probably just some simple, like, widget, something toggleable that shows the, like, on the screen, W is forward, A is, just you use your mouse to look around. Just because there's no way around, like, the controls are confusing. And to make sure that there's an easy reference. But I do think, for people, like, making an option, so... Oh, right, I need to turn off auto exposure. But yeah, I think just making an option for the folks who are a little better at tech and want to kind of zoom around, and I'll make a little tutorial on that too. So, those who aren't savvy aren't just left out. Be, not leaving them out, just recognizing it. And so these are just like a cube, but what I might do instead is not that. Alt. I should get, like, more rounded walls at some point. Like, actually make walls. And that. And go into this. Not really no. There. No. Just give me the face. Why don't we do this? You can move down, and then I can go here and just... There we go. There we go, and just make that shorter. Back here. Move this. Oh yeah, another thing to note. So right now, all, like the box brushes have colliders. They're not gonna have colliders when I turn them into static meshes. So that's something I'll have to change. Alright, so that. And gonna. Yeah, just so that instead of. I mean, this isn't the worst, but it's kind of weird looking if you look at it from the side. This is still kind of weird looking, but less weird looking. And it matches the other wall. Like, you know, let's have it actually match. And I can apply materials to it after it's static mesh. I just don't think I have all these options, so I want to make sure these are good before I do anything. Will this affect draw calls? That's non-zero possibility of that. I don't. Well, if I give them the camera control, they might see it from that angle. Apply. There we go. Yeah. Box brush. Okay. So now, some of these, so I might just actually delete, because these are blocked off actually, so I don't need them. Just an early idea. Yeah, I eventually realized I didn't need it. Nope, never mind. Wrong wall. Nope, that's the entry. Okay. You want to be a jerk, you could like look through it, but I don't think that's actually gonna be a problem. I think this is just a cube. Yeah, it's just a cube. And there's these, so I do need to get... I mostly made sure the texture thing was fine. But I'm just gonna... I mean, I don't know what you're doing in your life if you're like looking under construction signs for discrepancies. I might suggest playing other games. Oh, you're fine. How are you fine? Or can I just not see anything? I just can't see anything. Okay. Yeah, there's always that person. That one person. Like the data miners for Pokemon. I don't even get the point of that. Like, cool. You know ahead of time. I'm sure I just ticked off some Pokemon data miner. Which kudos to Pokemon data miner for watching this long. Thank you for adding to my watch hours. Just gotta love how YouTube's like, yeah, you need this many watch hours to get monetized so that you can get the money from what we put on your videos. And I'm just over here going, most of my videos are 5 to 15 minutes. Ya jerks. Like, please don't demonetize me for that, YouTube, but also please let me monetize. But yeah, that's the thing. If you can only get the money from any ads on your channel if you've reached a certain amount of watch hours. So channels with shorter videos, it would take longer to get the watch time because generally people don't watch the whole video. So, especially with the type of video that I have, which is tutorial videos, where you're gonna have people clicking around. Alright, hold on, I need to make a folder. Yes, I have something called meshes. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. But, alright, from box brushes. Also, what? Where are you referencing it? Yeah, thank you. Don't need that. Oh, I also need to change the compression. Okay. Yeah, you can see a couple. I got some. Yeah, I got all the artworks into Unreal. I just need to put them in. I want to check something. I was wondering if there was like oodle in compression settings. That would be helpful. Okay. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Just trying to get an idea of how to get like the oodle compression going on, because a lot of these artworks are pretty big for obvious reasons. Or maybe it's not obvious. But anyways, these are like from the Smithsonian site for the most part. So yeah, I'll have to figure out if it's like you have to do something special to get it. The oodle compression, or if it's just one of the compression settings. That no. Anyways, that's different from what I was doing. That's a whole other thing. Essentially like, oh, this is gonna get big. What? Where am I? There we go. Our box brushes. Yeah. So, geometry. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay. I'll just put them. Yeah, I'll have to put them up here. This is gonna be a lot of static meshes. So, yeah. I'll stop mumbling about that. I will just do what I said I was gonna do. Because either way, it removes the box brushes. And gives me the better for the better run, better performance. There we go. Which, given I'm trying to get this thing... Like, I'm assuming the type of computers this is gonna be run on will be, like, Dells. And not good Dells, but the standard Dell you see in a high school that hasn't been upgraded in a while and is just doing its best. That's all it can do. Its best. And, like, no shade to Dell. That's just, you know, how high school computers are. Yeah, the ones at my school were always Dells. They weren't the worst, but, you know, not something, you know, trying to run latest Call of Duty or whatever. Not something you do that on. Yeah, I'll probably use the same music as, like, background music as I did the last Devstream. Partially so I don't have to, you know, hunt down another track. And partially because, hey, it's the Devstream music and it's pretty chill. I think I have a cat squeaking outside the door. My cat Zuko, which if you've been on my Twitter, not the new Nerdy Unreal Dev Twitter, but my personal Twitter, you'll see pictures of Zuko. He squeaks. Like if he wants a door opened or wants food because, oh no, the food dish is empty, he'll do a squeak. He'll be like, like that's my cat. Like, slightly lower tone, but yeah. He also, like, meows, but, and murps and all that, but the main thing is squeaking. What's funny is, when the little cat, that's, my aunt's cat, he has been mimicking Zuko. Little Roo mimics Zuko, which has gotten a little confusing, because usually, like, because sometimes Roo will start meowing exactly like Zuko when when he's trying to get into the storage room or a closet or something, and oh no, there's a door shut. He's just going mew, mew, mew. Exactly like Zuko. So it's like, oh, no? Roo? And Roo is this, like, tiny flame point Siamese, so he's still very white. So it's like expecting to see Void, and then it's, nope. Sorry, buddy, you are not as good at hiding. My cat is just fluffy Void. Yeah, I heard a couple squeaks and then it stopped, so he probably just decided to nap in a different bedroom. During the day, he'll either hang out in the cat tower, which is in the living room, or, lately, he's been hanging out in my room, which he does hang out in my room regularly. But if I'm at my desk, he'll either be under my desk on it's not even a cat bed. It's a cushion for desk chairs. It's like a memory foam cushion for desk chairs. It's not even that soft, but he really likes it. And, it accidentally ended up under my desk. And he was like, cool, that's my new bed. And it's a black cushion in shadows. And Zuko he's just a black cat. He's void. So half the time he's there, I don't even notice. Also, another spy I've been liking lately is there's like those cardboard wave scratchers. He loves sleeping on those. And one of them, it was in my room, and it ended up. A lot of things end up places, okay? It ended up in front of the heater. Place I'm at now has central heating, so it's right, like, directly in front of the thing that blows warm air, and he loves it. I'll just chill there. Got a great picture of him flopped over because, he was just napping on the wave and then flopped over. Still asleep. Half on the wave. And eventually woke up and kind of looked around like, I don't know how this happened. This didn't happen. I'm a cat. I'm a regal, noble cat. And I'm just going, Zuko, you lost your honor. He is a prince. A spoiled 8-year-old prince. Like, Zuko is spoiled 8-year-old Prince Zuko. Not... He's not really angsty teenage Zuko. He has his moments, though. But he's mostly 8-year-old Zuko. And yes, it's great going Prince Zuko. But yeah, and all the cats actually have Avatar Last Airbender theme naming. There's a Sail Point, which is just a Grey Tabby and Siamese mix, named Sokka. Then Zuko, obviously. They fight. Like, they get along okay. They're just, regularly in combat with each other. And and then there's the kitten, Haru. Rue. Mostly we call him Rue, because he's very much a Rue. I think Haru was fairly chill. And Rue is not chill. Maybe he'll become more chill. And yes, we couldn't name the Flame Point Iroh because he's the youngest and he's not an Iroh. I did suggest Kuzan. I think he would have made a good Kuzan. But Rue kind of ends up being what he's called. He's more Rue. He kind of breaks the theme naming. We just call him we just say his name's Haru because it still works with the naming. Yeah, I think it could have made a Lu Ten or a Kuzan. But yeah. That's the deal with the cats. Eventually, I will have my own place. And there will only be me and Zuko. But I have plans for cat trees and whatnot, especially near where I'm working. Because he likes chilling. And this isn't even... And one thing I'm gonna get long before I get my own place is it's like a cat scratcher / cat house that looks like an arcade machine. Target sells them. It's technically for Stranger Things, like it's a Stranger Things themed arcade machine. And I don't watch Stranger Things. I saw an episode when like like an episode or two around when it like came out and was a huge deal. Not a bad show. I just never got around to watching. There's a lot of shows I'm like, oh, this is cool, and then I never get around to finishing it. And to me, Dark has more priority for finishing than Stranger Things. Dark being a German show that Netflix... I think it's a Netflix production. And it's all like... It's also got weird horror time... It's got weird horror stuff going on. It's... I think it has stuff going on with time. It's weird. That's all I can really say for it. It's weird and it's horror. I just haven't gotten around to watching it because usually when I watch stuff, I sort of multitask. I multitask my relaxation, which means I can't really watch it's weird. Like, I need subtitles to watch things, but for shows where, like Dark, where it's in another language. I mean, there is a dub, but no. I should work on my German anyways. I don't know if the dub is good or bad. I was raised with sub is better than dub culture, okay? So my default is original language subbed. And that means I actually need to pay attention to everything. That's why I haven't finished Babylon Berlin either. That one is based off a German Pulp Fiction book. It's another German show. I talked about it a little on the very disliked A Romantic Week thing. But it's set during Weimar, Germany. It's like historical fiction, but with like the pulp fictionist. Yeah, you got your detectives and your drama, and this person's fucking this person, and this guy is manipulating this person, and that is caps lock, not shift. Alls. There we go. I can organize this at another time. The only person I'm hurting with this lack of organization is myself. That's the fun of solo dev. If it's, if you leave things a mess or it's not perfect, the only one you're hurting is yourself. Also, you're the only one who, you don't have a producer telling you to check Jira. You are the producer telling yourself to check Jira. Yay. Alright, that's done. Cool. Now I have to replace the... Alright, we'll just... No, not that one. Okay. Just start here. One with the weird gap. It's like, look at my promotional images. Oh, there's a weird gap going on. Don't mind that. Alrighty. Now we're rocking and rolling. Do do do. Why I don't have a podcast? I may be able to talk about things for hours, but when there's no one responding, I'm a little lost. Yeah. Apparently there's a blueprint I could make so that the planes actually like stick to the wall and it's easy. That's a future thing. Okay. Yeah, oh no, you're the gap. Starting in May. Do do do. Main goal, now that that's all done, is to have a pretty looking vertical slice. And then I will be... And then that's where the fun begins. Fun being another word for asking people for money. Because this is, you know... It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is a project that I want open access. Art programs cost money. And I know there's probably some Blender fan watching. I know I can use Blender. I'm aware that this is an... oh no. Oh no. This is why we label things. Glad I caught that before that was the whole museum. But unfortunately, Blender takes time to learn. It's not a simple program. That's the thing about Blender. It's really not simple, and not every program is intuitive to everyone. Like, some people, Blender, like, makes a lot of sense to them, and kudos. I'm one of those people that Maya makes more sense to. And that is in part because I had formal schooling that taught Maya. Okay. So, now I use Maya. And Adobe's gonna want money. And my site costs money. And Canva costs money. Well, it's free, but... the Pro has more options for templates and all that. I should be... There we go. there's the plane. Okay. But yeah, things cost money. That's what grants are for. You know, grants also allow for things like things that, you know, allow for more builds and all sorts of things. So I'm just trying to get the, you know, more artworks in, get more of a vertical slice going. No one seemed to have reported any issues, which is good. I am gonna have to make... Okay. No, don't mind me. I'm gonna have to make colliders. Because these don't have colliders. But I think once I make the collider for the original mesh... Yeah, once I make it for the original mesh, it should be fine. There's just several original meshes because I made decisions that are not for a huge production environment. Yeah, definitely gonna have to look into increasing performance and all that. Yeah, really this Devstream is just an excuse for me to talk to myself and sort of brainstorm out things without quite seeming like a crazy person. I mean, I could also just talk to my cat. It's the two options, really. Ah, there's Harriet Tubman. Just how I know there's auto exposure problems. Mainly that for whatever reason, I thought auto exposure was no longer a thing. So I didn't have to worry about it. But it's here, and it's being annoying. Making it difficult to see some of the images, like this one. So, we're gonna save. Goodbye. Thank you. I don't like auto exposure. It messes with your leg. I mean, it's okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going... Yeah, there's still auto exposure. I think you can see more now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something with Lime because for whatever reason this one's always so blown out. And then why? Now, Portrait of a Family. Anyways, I now have lighting things to work on and more images to upload. Yeah, now this. Yeah, that's what I get. Yeah, so you have that auto exposure thing. You kind of have to like wait for it for the colors to level out. Anyways, I'm gonna end this because this is probably, yeah, recording an hour. Now that's gonna take forever to render. Anyways, y'all have a good one. If you made it this long, kudos. Thank you. And hey, check out the affiliate links. I added some. You get something cool, I get a bit of money. Win-win. Alright, have a good one.